In the world of boxing, few names command as much attention today as Naoya Inoue, widely regarded as the fastest and most destructive fighter in the sport. With precision, ferocity, and undeniable charisma, Naoya has established a dominant presence in multiple weight classes. Yet behind his meteoric rise lies another formidable force, his younger brother, Takuma Inoue. While often overshadowed by his older sibling, Takuma has carved a path of his own, building a legacy of explosive performances, ironclad technique, and relentless pressure that make him one of the most exciting contenders in the bantamweight division. Takuma's journey began in the shadow of greatness, but not in submission to it. Inspired by Naoya's early successes in high school championships and national tournaments, Takuma committed to boxing from a young age. The brothers trained side by side, sharpening each other's skills with every sparring session. Under the guidance of their father and coach, Shingo Inoue, they turned their home gym into a crucible of discipline and excellence. Day after day, Takuma watched Naoya refine his technique, develop knockout power, and climb the amateur ranks. Rather than be intimidated, he absorbed everything like a sponge, eventually stepping into the ring with the same purpose: to dominate, not imitate. Though Takuma began as the younger sibling trailing behind a rising star, it wasn't long before he began to make waves on his own. Even in the early stages of his professional career, he displayed an uncanny ability to turn experienced veterans into hesitant, retreating fighters. He adopted a style reminiscent of Naoya's, marked by blistering combinations and an innate sense for timing. But where Naoya overwhelms with sheer explosiveness, Takuma brings a slightly more cerebral approach, mixing ruthless intent with sharp counterpunching and subtle footwork. His strikes aren't just about power, they are about precision and timing, delivered at angles his opponents struggled to anticipate. One of the earliest examples of his brilliance came during his initial professional win streak, when he tore through 13 straight opponents. In each bout, his opponents quickly learned that they weren't just facing the younger brother of a champion, they were stepping into the ring with a predator in his own right. Takuma's ability to stay calm in the fire and land devastating counters became his signature. Opponents who tried to pressure him often found themselves on the wrong end of a vicious hook or a lightning-quick combination. In multiple fights, his right hand turned his foes into stumbling wrecks, and when they came forward again, smelling desperation rather than strategy, Takuma finished them with the cold, ruthless poise of a seasoned warrior. Perhaps the most emphatic display of his power and precision came in his bout against Indonesian fighter Waldo Sabu. Entering the ring with confidence and aggression, Sabu came forward, throwing body shots and wild haymakers, eager to make a statement. But Takuma responded with calm precision, countering with his own body shots and gradually drawing Sabu into his preferred range. What followed was a showcase of refined brutality. In an exchange at close quarters, Takuma uncorked a vicious left, hook to the body, a punch so precise and powerful that it folded Sabu in half, sending him to the canvas writhing in pain. The shot landed directly on the liver, shutting down Sabu's system and forcing the referee to call the fight. It wasn't just a win, it was a warning shot to the rest of the division. Takuma Inoue was not a second fiddle. He was a name that demanded recognition. The drama of that victory was only heightened by the timing. On the very same night, in the very same arena, Ariake Arena in Tokyo, Naoya Inoue delivered a knockout victory over Paul Butler, becoming the undisputed champion in his weight class. It was a rare and poetic moment in boxing history. Two brothers, fighting on the same night, both securing knockouts, both elevating the Inoue legacy. The arena, packed with fans from across Japan and beyond, erupted in celebration, not just for Naoya's unification feat, but for Takuma's emphatic declaration of elite status. Takuma's next major test came against Jake Bornea, a hard-hitting fighter known for his aggression and resilience. From the opening bell, Takuma unleashed a relentless assault. He didn't wait to feel Bornea out. He went straight to work, throwing sharp jabs and heavy hooks that rattled Bornea against the ropes. It was clear from the outset that this wasn't going to be a cautious, technical affair. Takuma had a point to prove, and Bornea happened to be the unfortunate recipient of that message. Despite his early dominance, Bornea showed grit and pushed back, landing solid right hands that temporarily halted Takuma's momentum. But the Japanese fighter adjusted quickly. He timed his counters better, began circling with greater purpose, and made subtle changes in rhythm that opened up new opportunities. The left hook to the body, a weapon that had become synonymous with the Inoue brothers, found its mark repeatedly, causing visible damage. The sound of those body shots echoed in the arena like gunfire, each thud a statement of control. Bornea, tough as he was, began to wilt under the pressure. His punches lost their snap, his footwork grew sluggish, and his face began to show the cumulative effect of Takuma's onslaught. The ring became a battleground with both fighters trading leather, but it was Takuma who dictated the tempo. His combinations flowed smoothly, his defense remained sharp, and his ability to switch angles kept Bornea guessing. Despite standing just over 5'4", Takuma fought like a giant, controlling range, exploiting gaps and unleashing hurtful shots that left Bornea bloodied and breathless. Perhaps the most impressive aspect of Takuma's performance was his ability to mix aggression with ring IQ. He wasn't just throwing punches, he was setting traps, feinting, and manipulating Bornea into vulnerable positions. It was a showcase of high-level boxing disguised as a brawl, a display that underscored Takuma's evolution from a raw talent into a complete fighter. This maturity and poise were put to the test once again when Takuma faced off against former IBF superflyweight champion Jerwin Ancajas. On paper, it was Takuma's toughest fight to date. Ancajas was experienced, dangerous, and had a reputation for delivering punishing performances. The bout was also significant because it marked Takuma's first WBA bantamweight title defense. For many, it was the moment to see if he could truly stand on his own as a world champion. From the first round, it was clear that both men had come to make a statement. Ancajas brought his trademark aggression, looking to land big counters and pressure Takuma into mistakes. Takuma, meanwhile, remained composed, using his jab to maintain distance and probing for openings. The early rounds were tense, with both fighters having their moments. Ancajas landed solid lefts while Takuma countered with crisp rights and body shots. The rhythm of the fight was back and forth like a high-speed chess match played with fists. As the rounds progressed, Takuma began to take control. His timing improved, his movement became more fluid, and his combinations started to land with increasing frequency. He navigated Ancajas's southpaw stance with ease, exploiting openings and landing with both hands. In the exchanges, Takuma proved he could absorb punishment and give it back tenfold. The turning point came in the 9th round when Takuma, sensing fatigue and desperation in Ancajas, went for the kill. He ripped 2 brutal body shots into his opponent's midsection, both perfectly placed, both devastating. Ancajas crumpled in agony, unable to rise before the count. It was another emphatic finish, another signature moment for the rising star. What made the victory even more meaningful was how it silenced critics. Many had questioned whether Takuma could ever live up to the Inoue name or carry a division as its champion. But with this performance, he didn't just defend his title, he stamped his authority on the division. Ancajas was no pushover, no tune-up fight. He was a legitimate world-class opponent, and Takuma dismantled him with precision, patience, and power. Though Takuma eventually suffered a loss by decision to fellow Japanese boxer Seiya Tsutsumi, the bout did little to diminish his growing reputation. Tsutsumi was tough and technically skilled, and the fight was a close, tactical affair. Rather than being overwhelmed, Takuma held his own, showcasing once again his resilience and adaptability. The loss, while disappointing, served as a reminder of the thin margins at the elite level of the sport. It also highlighted Takuma's willingness to face dangerous opponents and continue evolving. Throughout his career, Takuma Inoue has demonstrated that greatness isn't confined to a single name. While his brother Naoya has rightly earned his place among the pound-for-pound elite, Takuma has forged a parallel path marked by its own milestones and moments of brilliance. His blend of speed, accuracy, and tactical intelligence makes him a unique force in the bantamweight division. He doesn't rely solely on power. He breaks opponents down systematically, capitalizing on every mistake and punishing every lapse in focus. His story is one of determination and discipline. Growing up alongside a prodigy could have crushed a lesser spirit, but for Takuma, it became fuel. Rather than constantly compare himself to his brother, he chose to compete with him. In the gym, in training, and eventually, in the annals of boxing history. Each victory, each knockout, and each title defense is a step in building a legacy, distinct from but no less impressive than that of Naoya Inoue. As Takuma continues to climb the ranks, the boxing world watches with anticipation. He has already proven he belongs at the top, but his ceiling remains tantalizingly high. With youth on his side and the discipline that defines the Inoue family in his blood, Takuma's best years may still lie ahead. The bantamweight division is stacked with talent, and the opportunities for super fights and unification bouts abound. If his past performances are any indication, Takuma will not only meet these challenges, he will embrace them with the same fearless tenacity that has defined his career so far. The legacy of the Inoue brothers is no longer just about Naoya. It's about a family that has reshaped the narrative of Japanese boxing, brought excitement back to the lower weight divisions, and inspired a generation of fighters. In every jab, every hook, every punishing body shot, Takuma Inoue is writing his own chapter, one that demands recognition, respect, and applause. So as fans look to the future, one thing is clear: Takuma Inoue is not simply following in anyone's footsteps. He's carving out his own trail of destruction, one opponent at a time, and proving with every performance that greatness runs deep in the Inoue bloodline. Whether defending his title or rising from defeat, he carries with him the heart of a warrior, the mind of a tactician, and the spirit of a champion. For those who underestimated him, the message is now clear. Takuma Inoue is here to stay, and the bantamweight division will never be the same.